Okay, and we are live. Welcome to the Love Your Life show, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we've got any gentlemen in the room, so we are just going to be starting in a moment. I'm just waiting to see who's going to be joining us today, and we're going to be starting in about 1 minute. Just quickly introducing the show. My name is Beverley Buckley, and this is the Love Your Life show. And today I have Arianna Zimmer, who is going to be joining us, which is really, really exciting. Arianna's here already. Here you are, Arianna. You want to say hi?
Hello.
So, we have three people in the room so far. Let's see how this goes. So if you are in the room currently, welcome. We're just going to be starting in about 1 minute. So if you've got any questions you'd like Arianna to or us to answer today, please feel free to type it in the chat at any point in time. We'd love to hear what you'd love to say. And okay, I'm actually think I'm going to start the show now. So let's a big introduction. Here we go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Love Your Life show. My name is Beverley Buckley, and today I am interviewing Arianna Zimmer. I'm going to just give you a little bit of information about Arianna, our amazing coach that we are interviewing today. So love and light. These are succinct and apt words to describe both Arianna Zimmer and the way in which she assists in transformation. As a child of 3 and having 2 children of her own, yes, she's got children, Arianna has honed her innate abilities of being present, open, and receptive guide to each and every being as she supports in safely opening up their hurts, fears, betrayals, and pain they've experienced throughout life, and that they've done to others as well. So obviously we've experienced it ourselves, but we've also done it. Working with her is like flowing into a stream of honored innocence, open trust, and palpable love. She holds a powerful heart space, and I can definitely account for this, to show us through our experiences of pain, anger, frustration, and returning us to a remembered state of free, expansive oneness and infinite love that we are. I want to introduce to you, drum roll please, Arianna Zimmer. Yes, here we go.
Awesome. It is so wonderful to be here. I just sat and felt into the energies just as you spoke, and it was like, well, it's that, because they're beautiful words and there's so much more. And it's that I want to play in the Amazing. More that we are.
Yay! And I just want to also just say hi to some of the people that are on the call right now. We've got Rosanna, we've got Jane, we've got Benita, Kumara, and Joe. So we even have a gentleman on the line. How great is that? Wow. So Arianna, tell us a little bit about your story. So how did you get involved with what you're doing now with the Life Transform coaching, and also because you are now a Life Transform coach, and I know that you're doing some amazing work or play. Since the theme of this show today is let's play in our garden of self-centeredness, right? And there's a whole story that we have around self-centeredness. So we're going to play with that little idea. But first, we want to find a little bit about you, Arianna. Who are you? Tell us.
Oh, the personality aspect that I am is beautiful. I think that I've been playing with energy as long as I've been aware, to varying degrees throughout childhood, adolescence, adulthood. And it feels like that culmination of self-centeredness, like me caring about what it is that I'm doing. And then from that being came from me stepping into, the Life Transformed coaching. It's kind of like the cherry on top, right? It's like, how much of you are you willing to give to yourself? And for me, there is no end to that. There's no beginning to it either. It's just that continuation. Like I said, it's the continual flow and unfoldment of what we are, and the commitment to that. Yes, absolutely. We're having a human experience. We have a personality. We have family. We have friends that interact with us on those common ground. It's almost like it's a common accepted experience. And I realized there is not a lot ever in my life that I've found I have a common link to. I can do it, I can play it, but not really that interested in it. What I'm interested in is moving into those places that are stuck, that have been hurt, that are confused, hurt, betrayed within me. And then from that, you know, being able to give that to others. Because we all want that for ourselves. We all want to look at it and say, what part of this is really me? There's the reaction. Absolutely. We all react. That's not what it is that we are. That's just the reaction from the place of the personality that's hurt. And not all parts of our personality are hurt. They aren't. But it's formed around that, it seems like a lot. And as we kind of just allow that to untangle and unwind, what it is that we really are is given space to come in and play in that self-centeredness.
And now something that's just coming to mind now, something that I thought I might just share quickly because I'm thinking about it. So share it, right? And talking about self-centeredness is oftentimes we get told, you know, they're so self-centered. There's always seems to be like this negative connotation about it, like it's not okay to think about yourself first and put yourself first. And it was a very interesting because we obviously had a conversation a couple of days ago, and I went to a yoga class. I think it was about 2 or 3 days ago. And in the yoga class, I just set up my mat, and I do hot yoga, and I set up my mat in the mirror, looking at myself in the mirror. Fantastic, right? And I didn't think anything about it. And this woman behind came up to me and said, but she was actually, the energy that she came with was what I responded to. Because if someone she asked me to move, and if someone had asked me to move and just said like, hi, would you mind just moving up a little bit? I would have gone, sure, no problem. But she kind of came with this attitude of entitlement, and I just immediately, something weird came up and I just didn't even know. And I just said, no, I'm not going to move for you. Why do I need to move for you? And you know, we kind of had this thing in the yoga studio, and you're supposed to be quiet at the beginning of the yoga studio before this class starts. And so obviously she said, but why can't you move? I said, well, because why do I need to? Why can't you move? The people at the back can move. I mean, I'm in the front, you know, why must I move for you? It doesn't make sense. And then the guy next to me said, no, actually, it's the people at the front that need to move for the people at the back. And at that point, I kind of went, okay, well, I'm wrong and you're right. So I'll move up a little bit. It didn't bother me in that space. But then thinking about it to the class, remember, I carried this with me through the class now, as we do, right? And then I thought to myself, wow, how interesting is that? Firstly, her coming up to me and saying, I need to change for her to be happy. And then me just so easily going, okay, I'll change for you to be happy. I'll be wrong so you can be right. Interesting.
Yeah, I'll appease the situation.
Exactly. And then thinking to myself, in future, if that comes to play, I would actually go, well, if it does, if it doesn't, you know, you never know. But thinking about it, I was thinking, if I could have responded differently, I probably would have just gone, no, and just smiled. And if she'd have had an issue, I'd have just said no and just allowed the energy to be whatever it was with all the discomforts, because we just don't like the discomfort, right? And we don't like to feel like we're self-centered, because in that space, I looked at myself and felt very self-centered. And so it was an interesting space to be in, right?
Absolutely. And you're centered in self, but you also have these external, you know, quote unquote, external sources of influence on you that your body starts to react to and go, you know, you run through the gamut that you do as a child. You know, am I wrong here? What did I do? I only want love. I only want everyone to experience love. And a lot of times we react from the past pain that we've experienced. I mean, how not? We also respond from the past, you know, beauty that we've experienced as well. It just depends on where we're at, you know, what we're already feeling in ourselves and how comfortable we are and how centered in self we are. Because, I mean, I was thinking about it too, and I do this lots. It's like, whose life are we supposed to be living for? We're here in a human body, in form. You know, the formlessness of the energy that we are in form. And I mean, you could even take that to, like, there's even a difference in that. But for this discussion, who am I supposed to live for? Somebody else's beliefs that they're living out and somebody else's from there, because that's just the inculcated response all the way along. And if we don't stop that by just going, wait a second, Am I living for my parents? Am I living for my friends? Am I living for my children? Am I living for, the belief that I have that it should be this or that, or, school, because I'm in a school, there's so much right and wrong there. And as a parent too, there's so much right and wrong. And I was chatting actually with my youngest daughter, and, she was saying last night, she's like, well, I'm always trying to be right so that I'm not wrong. Because she knows that if she's either one at school, she's going to get in trouble, right? She's going to be rewarded for the smallness of, I'll just be right for you. And she's going to be disciplined for the, the wrongness of being whatever reaction she actually honestly is having right now. She's going to be manipulated to make sure she has this smaller fitting, and I said, God, Isis, like, I know that one through and through. And I've watched her do that with her dad and I. And it's like, as difficult as that is at 8, it's also as easy as it is at 8. You got to be you. And there are times where it's like, she's such a challenge being herself, but oh my God, she's also delicious at the same time, where it's like, oh my God, how can we preserve the essence that you are and not have it hammered down, A, by us, or B, by the world around, and C, by our beliefs of what's going to happen, because we think we need to protect you, which we do in some aspects, in some degrees, right? But God, more and more, I've been going, that's just a held belief too. So again, by me centering in on myself and not reacting from these things, but going, what do I know about being? And the part, that can be personality, that can be aspects of what it is. God, like, I know people who actually can they have multiple experiences of what they are in this now moment. So it's almost like thinning the veils between experiences that they're having in this now moment. So what it is that we are as a personality itself can shift as we're willing to be more and more of what it is and centered in the self, right? Because we're our own limits. And the more we come back into ourselves and allow that freedom, and sometimes it doesn't feel expansive, you're like, great, I'm coming to myself, and it feels like crap. That's just wanting to move itself out of your experience as well, going, but I'm here and it doesn't feel good. What can we do here? And so some of the things that I've experienced in those moments are, you're having an emotion, you're having a feeling, have it.
Yes.
We have so been repressed from those past childhood moments that it's like, oh, can't cry, can't. They're not appropriate here. We're here to be us. What is not appropriate about what it is that we are, even in the face of it bugging somebody else? Great, it bugs you. Well, it's bugging me too right now. That's actually why I'm experiencing what I am. That's why a child has a tantrum. That's why adults have tantrums, for God's sakes. They just end up coming out bigger and bigger in these crazy news media footage. Have what you're having. If you need to have a freak out session and you think it's going to, come out onto somebody, go do it in the bush, go do it in your car, go do it in your basement, but have it. If you need to cry, go have it. Like, think of how much our body is expending to keep all this stuff in together. So that we're right and we're good and we look like our neighbors and our yard, just have it. And then the second one is start being adventurous. Like, what is it that I am? If I'm going to center in self, what even is self? What are my beliefs around self? Because that's the start. What do I believe? And is that true? And I find nature is such a rewarding and blessing space for us to welcome ourselves back into ourselves again, because it holds the balance. And so we can just let it out. We can have whatever we're having and don't need to hold anything in. when we're just walking in nature, or we're being in it. Or, I mean, meditation is one of them as well. I just find that I do it while I'm walking.
Mm.
And the third is to breathe. Like, it's the most freeing, enlivening thing that we can do consciously every day, and don't have to be any special place for it.
Mm. Mm.
It always just resets the circuit no matter what's happening. You're not pushing anything back down again. You're just breathing, because sometimes breathing will let it come up even further, whatever it is. But it has a path, a trajectory to flow through as you're like, I'm just going to have whatever this is, you know, and it's surrender. Breathing sometimes is just the bodily surrender to, I don't have to fight what's coming up. I don't have to fight myself for what is just trying in me to show. It's uncomfortable, you know, or I feel wrong about this, or whatever it is, right? I feel like I need to do something to be right. When I know that I'm in my space of my heart, I'm not doing, being. And I don't even know what I'm being. I just know that I am being. And the mind quiets and the heart opens. And in that space is open bliss. There's vulnerability, because anything can come in. It doesn't matter. I have my back. And the freedom is there because there aren't any rules, regulation, needs. It's all there because everything that I am is there. And it's beyond even what I can be aware of and comprehend. But it's all there. And when people say, you know, just take a break, change your focus and circumstance. I mean, that's a big shift that I just demonstrated. But the breathing is it too. The stepping outside, the going and screaming, whatever it is, that's shifting our focus from we got to keep it together at all costs to no, I get to be me. I get to have whatever is coming up for me, because it's not coming up to destroy you or to hurt you in any way. It's coming up to say, please, will you look at me? Please, will you do something with this? Please, will you have it? Finally. And you can't do that when you're focused on what's external, on somebody else's reaction, on making somebody happy, on not making a scene, on the external. We're not the external experience. It mirrors us. It shows back to us our beliefs, our expressions, or whatever it is. We're not it. And we're not living our lives by worrying about that. And we just get called again and again through our neighbor's disapproval eyes, through whatever it is, through the man at the checkout, from the, you know, gas attendant, jock. It doesn't matter who it is. They're just reflecting back to us our own state, our own beliefs. So just use that as a mirror of going, oh yeah, because they're going to judge you no matter what. They live in a judging world. It's, are you going to? Are you going to seat yourself in self and go, this is why I'm here?
Yeah. I think the self-judgment thing is a thing that that we sometimes, well, I mean, we always get caught up in that. I'm getting less and less caught up in it because I'm just going, you're not important to me. And the interesting thing in the yoga studio, which like you say, with all of this, is I did have that whole thing going on in my head throughout the whole yoga studio. This is a reflection of me. When do I do this? How do I do this? And it was like, because as I was doing the postures, you know, you stare at yourself in the mirror for like an hour and a half. So I was completely rawly vulnerable to those thoughts, and I was able to look at them from many different perspectives and go, look at how I do this, how I do this, how I do this. And I let go of the judgment side of it. So I didn't judge myself based on my reaction, because I could have judged myself and said, I should have said no. I could judge myself and say, I should have just moved it immediately. I could have, there's so many ways that I could have looked at it and just reacted. But then I just came to a place of peace, and I said, I'm going to love me, even if they don't love me and they think that I'm bad or wrong or whatever. My response was perfect in the way that I responded. And even if I responded in a completely different way, that would have been perfect too. And I would have loved myself in that moment too. And I think that's a great place to be. Yeah.
What I found too is any response, interesting, that we ever have to anyone, or that it's coming in, is just a way of us expressing and exposing our own belief system. We can't comment from any other place when we're really within self than from the self, whether it's from the personality, whether it's from the wholeness that we're being, whether it's, somewhere on that linear flow, or that trajectory, right? It's just an indicator of where we're at. So for the woman or that man, I mean, that's just, again, a reflection of where they're at, and anybody's response to anything or anyone else has nothing to do with us. It's all their story. It's all their book. Even the thoughts we have of other people, when you're like, that doesn't even seem like me. No, because it's not you. You were just reading their content of themselves. And we're so used to reading content that we forget that that's not what it is that we are. And again, the breathing, the being out in nature, being the child that we are. Again, spend time with kids. Even if your past was painful, it's like there was so much freedom and imagination, which really is creativity. How do we create our experience? Well, that's how we imagine, or we want, and we plan, and therefore we put it into experience. And when we're ready to shift how that comes out, coming from self, and going, this is what I want. Not this is me appeasing anybody else for any reason, but this is what I want, and I'm going to stand for that. Or I'm just going to have it. Either way, that place is magical, and every child innately knows that. But we've forgotten those beautiful tools of manifestation and of creation to look at somebody else's and going, well, that's wrong. Oh, well, I need to do this. This is right. And there's so little capacity to create from when it's just the mind, when it's just from the reflection externally from the mind. But when we involve our heart and our whole being, again, the self in those, it becomes rapid, it becomes easy. We can listen to our intuition for guidance. I mean, there's a whole slew of things that come with that. Kids play so easily. Yes, they will run into, well, I want to do this and this and that and that. Well, beautiful, so are we, and they're so easy about letting it go too. Oh, yeah, right, okay. Friends again, without that grudge, without it meaning anything. And we can have that again too, because we just don't play in the rest of it. We just don't believe in any of the meanings behind anything anymore. Because they're only a creation of the mind. And when you move into your heart, it's like, oh, yeah, that doesn't actually even exist, does it? It's just a creation of the mind. And the mind is a beautiful creator when it's combined with being centered in the heart and all the other aspects of us that we are. But those two working in, coherence and simultaneity are just, it's brilliance. But it can't be had outside of self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't be in your heart outside of self.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I think there's so many people that think that who they are is outside of themselves. They keep on looking for themselves in the external world, and that's, I mean, the whole reason, and well, the energy behind this Love Your Life show is to assist people to recognize that loving your life isn't about what the external is showing back to you. I have the car, I have the house, I have the this, I have the that, I have all these things that are supposed to tell me that I'm good enough, so I can love my life now. It's about loving your life, like you said, being centered in yourself. And when you're centered in yourself, you see everything as you are, and you can see the reflection of yourself, and you can see other people's content, or content that is perhaps even your own, and recognize and say, oh wow, that was interesting that I've played with that for a while, and then okay, I can let it go like a child, right? Let it go.
And having the fun of letting it go, and the freedom of letting it go, and the expansiveness of like, I didn't realize how much energy and investment I had in that thought, belief, idea, fill in the blank, emotion, right? Emotional response. And as, again, like I said, you start teasing those away. And if you say yes to that, the universe will just start bringing it anyways. It just will. And then it's just a matter of, for me, it was anyways, who do I want to work with to find out how to play with this? How do I want to? And so it was the succession of wonderful individuals. Until now, I realize I choose that for me. I know I'm confident enough in what it is that I be, that it's like, yeah, I want to unravel that. I want it. I want that space for me. I want what it is that I am back again. And that was always my biggest driving force. I want me, whatever that is. And not even knowing what that meant or caring what that meant, I still wanted it. I want me. I want what it is that I am. And what I've come to realize is that it's everything. It is everything. But it's an everything that has the depth and the breadth and the love and the power from an internal space that then isn't projected on, I think, I believe, I know externally. It's like it's just kind of received. It's just there because I'm choosing it. Because I'm choosing to see it, not categorize it, not have to do anything with it. I'll engage with it from what it is that I am. And then it's this beautiful, true relationship, because it's having a relation with whatever it is externally versus me telling it, that's what you are. You're just a tree. You're just a rock pile. You're just a... No, it's having that interest in self, because I'm so interested in what it is that I am, that then it's like, whoa, then it reflexively expands. What is it that you are other than what it is that I am? Because it's the same thing. It's just a different flavor in form. And then it becomes a miraculous world. And I can't see how there can be any boredom ever in the world. From the dogs, from the flowers, from the children, from, dust, for God's sakes, become so intriguing. And I mean, great, maybe that's boring to some. They're like, great, you're talking about dust, watching dust. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Because it is the same creation that I am. It's formlessness and form. It's here to serve in so many ways, like a myriad of ways that also the mind gets to supply information on, that the heart gets to play with. Yeah, and that to me is fulfillment, because it's being filled from within.
Within, okay. I've got a question. I've got a question for you, Arianna. It's from Jane, and she's asking, what is the difference between ego and self-satisfaction? So what is the difference between the ego and the self-satisfaction or self-centered sort of thing that we're playing with today? Thank you, Jane.
Awesome
Thank
question.
you, Jane.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I'm just kind of letting that answer kind of settle itself within me, because to me, ego would be the one saying, I know it, I got it, I can answer this right now. And it's the mind. And it just came from this space of, needing to be right, not wanting to be wrong. I got it. And it's a linear kind of experience of like wham bam. To me, self-centeredness and that satisfaction is kind of like pondering, like, what is the difference? And I'm showing you the difference in the energy and the vibration. So I'm kind of answering it that way. Whereas one is a true questioning and like, awesome, absolutely a pondering. What is the difference? Because the ego is of the mind and of the body, because it's what I think I am. I think I am this body. I have judgments possibly on this body. Whatever it is, it's to me a flatter space, if that makes sense. It's not as juicy and full. It's short, it's crisp. It lacks the depth, not emotion, but depth of being that the self and centered in the self has. The ego would not be interested in looking at dust for what dust is. But yet the ego might be totally interested in, analyzing the dust and the linear aspect of things. And it's not just linear, because the self-centered experience, the being, can also experience in linear, but not nearly as easily, because as I step into what it is that I am, that becomes more and more difficult to be in that linear experience all the time. I need gadgets to assist me in, remember this. Okay, write that down. Because the mind isn't there to, we're going to force into doing this, and we're going to live in this projected reality of this is just this. You're just a plant. You're just a pencil. Versus now it's like approaching it in this beautiful, succinct way of not knowing. Same way as I don't know what it is that I be, but I am it. But I can't know it, because in knowing it loses the depth. Right? So I can still speak of it, but it's the vibration and energy behind it that brings so much more to the conversation than what an encyclopedia can give. So that would be, to me, the definition of the ego versus the self has to do with depth and breadth and wholeness and completeness and ease. There's just so many words that I can use. The ego is a beautiful thing. Like, I love my ego. I love my ego. I find my personality fascinating, but operating from it solely is painful, because it's like now I'm susceptible to all these past conditionings and caring, and I don't care. Truly.
Yeah.
And from a place of, I may watch, but I've stopped caring about the external influence. And it's so cute, because people that I know in my life are like, you've stopped caring. And it's like, well, yeah, I've stopped concerning myself with what it was that I was so concerned with before. Being right, not being wrong, making sure that other people were happy, that I was doing the right thing, that I was dotting the I's and crossing the T's and packaging things in bows so that they would like me and they'd be okay, and we wouldn't end up in any fights or rows or disagreements. And it was sheer exhaustion, and it wasn't what I am. And now I have even less conflictive interactions with people, because I can just observe where they are and love where they're coming from, love their reaction, because, oh my God, as if I haven't reacted in the exact same way, and I have total compassion for them because, I've been there. And it's not comfortable.
So
it's not. Go.
So Arianna, I want to ask you, for anyone, like, Okay, so we get, I know that this is something that I've had as well, as like in the ego, in my center, in the ego, in my center. It's like this constant like kind of feeling. And sometimes you get like caught up in your ego and you don't even recognize that you're there. It's just like blinkers on and I'm there. And what would you say is a tool or something that we could use to kind of, I know that you spoke about nature and things like that, but sometimes when you're in the ego, it's like, no, I don't have time for nature. No, I don't have time for that. No, I don't have time. Like, what could be something that you could do on a daily basis just to bring yourself, whoa, okay, you know?
Yep. And so to me, that's the level of commitment that you have to yourself. How fully are you willing to commit to yourself? Because it doesn't matter what it is that you do. What I find is it's the frequency that you're willing to step back into that. If you're willing to give, that time out, pause, holy, I'm in my head, and that's absolutely fine. It's beautiful. It's absolutely the step on the, on the path of wherever it is that you're going and what you choose, because you're creating it, dearies. You're creating it all through your choices. Set yourself a timer on your phone, because let me tell you, I do, where it's like, ding, a little thing goes off, and I won't let myself say later or snooze. It's like, if I'm in a work environment or driving environment, that kind of thing, then that's where it's just like, whoa, I actually feel like instead of being out here, because I'm a feeler, I just call all this energy back. And you can actually just say, I call all the energy that I am back into myself. Not even knowing what that means. Yep. I call all the energy that I am back into myself.
So you can say that on the live stream if you're with us now. You can just say that to yourself now and just we can bring ourselves back into here, right?
Yeah. And you can say it a couple of times, because it almost feels like that energy kind of reverberates out, because we're so busy in our mind doing things that you just say it again, again with a deep breath. I call all the energy that I am back into myself. And you might feel something.
Wow.
You might hear something. You might know something. It might feel exactly the same, and that doesn't matter either. It's perfect. But the more often that you're willing to do that, there are subtle shifts that over this linear time that we're experiencing, it's like that becomes a new habit that you're forming. And it takes more than a week of reminding yourself. And it's, where do you place your level of importance to yourself? Is it more important that I pull myself back into the space that I am? Or that I push that off because I'm dealing with something right now? And the answer doesn't matter. I really don't care what your answer is. It's just that in your answer, in your choice, you're exposing to yourself, how much am I willing to commit to myself? And there's a lot of people that commit to themselves in changing their diet, physical routine, exercise, that aspect, who have decided to change their income, vocation, business, job, whatever that is. So that's just a beautiful dive in. But it just feels like those are wonderful, life-altering, shifting changes. And center back into yourself, because it's for you that you're doing it.
I love it. I love that. And
as often as you can.
And you know what, Arianna, the thing for me with this show, and one of the reasons why I've chosen this, is because it's something that I've dreamed about since I was very, very, very young, and never fully stepped into it because it was never perfect. It was never quite how I thought I needed it to be like everyone else. And I'm just so thankful that you agreed and said yes to being on the show, because in a way, like, it's like we're working or playing with each other and allowing each other's dreams to flourish, and allowing this message that you don't have to judge yourself into being this specific perfect box before you start. Just take a step, any step, as long your intention will always be in expansiveness of yourself. So just do it.
And actually, that reminds me, like, one of my, beautiful friends and mentor, Rika Zimmerman, who created the Life Transformed class, one of the wonderful things that she's playing with now is the more imperfect I am, the more love that I am.
I love it.
Absolutely, because it takes that pressure on, like, I can't love myself until I'm perfect. Well, then when are you ever going to love yourself? Because if you're not perfect now, you're never going to be. And you're always going to be chasing those things external to yourself until you center back in self and go, the more imperfect I am, the more love I deserve, the more. And you might not even be able to love yourself now, but you're like, I don't care. I don't care what the mind even says to it. I'm worth it. And I'm going to say it to myself until, well, that's what it is. Because it's the beautiful, quote unquote, imperfections that have allowed for this whole creation of the world to form.
Wow.
And us in it. So, as above, so below, right? It's those minute imperfections that change everything. That change everything.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And it's those little steps that we take to stepping back into ourselves, loving ourselves through the perceived imperfections.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That is just beautiful. So Arianna, one thing I wanted to bring up on the show is, well, there's a few things, but one of them is to do with your Sumerian awakening activations that you do. And also I just wanted to mention to all of our viewers and listeners that wonderful thing, yes, you can have your very own consultation with Arianna. How cool is that?
Absolutely.
Just want to touch on that they can visit your website, I'm guessing, to book a session with you. There's many different consultation sessions, and the website is shootingstar energies.com. Yes, that's the one.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then some of the sessions you've got, obviously, intro sessions as well, which I believe are a 30-minute session that is for free. Is that what's
on there? Absolutely. So that's one per person, and that's just to try it out. Take me for a test drive. See if that is really a match where you're like, yeah. Let's see what this is like. I mean, there's one thing of listening. There's another whole difference of I want to experience this, right? And so there's that. And then there's a gamut of other sessions and packages that are on there as you so choose. And there's a description of each there as well.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to play with this now, and I'm going to be a bit self-centered, and I'm going to say, how about this Sumerian Awakening? Can you go into a bit more with that, and maybe if you can, I don't know if you channel in onto the person, or what do you do with it, and I'll be your guinea pig.
Pick me. That's so sweet because of that energy. So again, I was speaking that what it is that I be is such. I mean, there's so many different aspects to it that this calls in to me a whole nother aspect that I get to play with, and it's beyond the mind. So what I would want you to do then, Bev, is to just completely relax, because it really is set by how much can you receive? How much can you just allow your mind to just accept that what is here in this session really is for your highest good. And it's what you've asked for. And so with that, it's just almost moving into a journey and moving into your body and allowing that body to just completely relax and not care, because it's so had and held by the universe. And just allowing those energies, those universal energies, cosmic energies, light energies, star energies, to just flow in now. Because as much as it's Lemurian, there's so many aspects that want to be here to support each and every one of us. And so just allow yourself to walk along a path, your path of your choosing, of exactly how it looks. And as you walk down that path, allow the aspects of what it is that you are and the aspects that you still believe that you are to flow into you just as they do flowing onto this path, and allowing them to merge into the wholeness that you are. They're all aspects of you, believed, created, fully are. What is the difference? And is there a difference? Accept them. Allow them in. The aspects that you are. And just breathe that in again, opening the being and space that you are to receive what it is that you are. Beyond mind and knowing. So much more. You can almost feel into it. You know it. You sense it. Sometimes you can see it or hear it. Just being a yes to that, even if you don't know how. Yes.
Yes.
And just being open along that path to let it come up and be as it does. Just to be as it does in your presence, in your yes, in your commitment to yourself. And just ask now. I ask that I center even further into whatever it is that I am, beyond knowing and beyond needing to know. I am a yes, universe. I am open and I receive all that it is that I am. Good, bad, wrong, right? I receive it. And on this path, as I walk, it's clear, it's illuminated, it's guided every step of the way. It's so beautifully guided and so smooth, obstacle-free. I just get to commit to receiving me more and more every step of the way. And if I don't know how to do that, I still say yes. And if I need to reach out for assistance, the whole multiverse is there to receive me, to receive all of me, for that's what it is that I am. Just breathe into that yes. That commitment to self, no matter what it is, that goes on forever, and that is everything, everywhere, every when, every how, every why. And that's just a taste.
Wow. That's, oh, my word. I just want to stay there forever. I'm like, oh God, have we run over time? Or we still? I'm like, where am I? What time is it?
It's just the mind going, oh my God, I was doing something here.
Yeah, exactly. And I keep saying to my mind, like, shh,
okay.
Just,
and that's what we do.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect no matter how it unfolds, even if I'm afraid of what's going to show up, or I'm afraid that this thing is going to show up. Like, oh my God, it's perfect. Thank you, mind. Then I get to look at it now, the fear that I think of what's going to happen. I get to look at that.
Yeah.
And where that came from.
Yeah. And it's so wonderful, because I think that it's something that all of us go through or experience on a regular basis. And Jane is just Joe's just saying amazing. I thought that was Jane, but Joe just said that was amazing. So and it felt so. It just felt so. That's the only word that really comes out right now. It's just like, that kind of, kind of feeling.
We get to experience what it is versus manipulating what we think, or coming from a place of paradigm and pattern. We get to step out of that and say, no. That's one way of experiencing. But in my choice, in my choosing of what it is that I am, there is so much more.
Yeah.
And so those 4 times a day, 10 times a day, 20 times a day, where you can just catch yourself and center back into self, and even just wonder, what is it that I am? I don't know. And in this wondering, you open up space for that to come in, because you're in a state of wonder. Like, I actually wonder what it is that I am. And I do that all the time. Because it just creates space for that to come in, because I'm not telling it what it is. I'm not limiting it. I'm just saying, I wonder, and yes. And not only and yes, yes and. Because it's yes to even more than that.
And as you were saying, the wonder, the song came into my head. Wow, 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 wonder. Wow. La, la, la. Little tune coming and going, hey,
absolutely.
Hey, I want to play. Can I play in your brain right now?
Absolutely. And the beauty of the vibration of music, I mean, that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother guest to play with. But oh my God. And we can be that too. I mean, there's no thing that we can't be. There is no thing. We're infinite beings. We can even be no thing. There's no thing we can't be.
I love it. So exciting. Well, I wanted that we could actually probably carry on with this call for the next we are within our time
time range. Yeah.
So I would love to say a great, big, huge, wonderful thank you to you, Arianna, for joining us today. And one of the things we spoke about last time was about amazing Arianna, and your surname is Zimmer, so it was amazing. We were like, yeah, I am amazing. I was loving it. So just want to bring that in, because you're amazing, and I think you're amazing. And I want a big thank you for sharing with us today. And I would love to just let everyone know who's listening to the call, or looking in on the call, or watching us here while we're pulling funny faces at them, going that they can go and visit your website if they would like to book a session with you. They can book a 30-minute session with you, which is obviously in South Africa, we say mahala. Mahala means it's free. So if there's any South Africans on the line, you know what I'm saying when I say mahala. And anyone who wants to know, mahala means free in South Africa. Benita's just said, awesome, brilliant, love and light. And then you can visit Shooting Star, that's shooting like bang, bang, Shooting Star Energies.com, and obviously shooting stars as in stars shooting in the air, so you can remember that visual. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure you'll be connecting with your shooting star. Also the Sumerian Awakening, which is amazing. We had a little bit of a taste of that, so I can just only imagine what a full session must be like. Only imagine. So, yeah, once again, thank you, abundant thank you for being on the show with us today. And is there anything you'd like to finish off with?
I would love to just finish off with the acknowledgement of our hearts and the power and the portal that our hearts are into the infinite beings that we are. And just to take a moment as that kind of last thing that we do, just allowing each and every being that is being, because we all are, into each and every one of our heart spaces, into that portal, no matter what that is, to play in the infinite universes that we are, that we can be that for each other, that we are that for each other, and that we give each person the heads up. You can do it too. You can do it too. If I'm doing it, you can have it too. And that we can be that shining light of infinite yes for everyone else, just in the own acceptance of ourselves in our heart. And then, oh my God, we can accept everything in, because we are everything. So thank you very much. It's been an honor and a blessing to be able to play with you, Bev, and everybody on the call. Thank you so much. My heart is overflowing.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you. And for more shows, ladies and gentlemen, will be more people watching the show. For more shows, we actually have a few more booked this week. There's one happening tomorrow with Leslie Black, and then there's another few on Thursday, and they are on the Facebook page, so you can go to @LoveYourLifeShow, and then you can go and sign up there. So I want to just say bye-bye to everyone there on the call, and you can say bye, Arianna, if you want to say bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, we love you.